Good evening, David. Your lips move.
Hi, David. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Jillian. Let's see.
Oh, good evening.
There we go. Stop video. I didn't mean to do that.
It's always an adventure to log on to Zoom and see how it's configured this time as opposed to last time.
Okay. Look at that. I'm visible. I'm visible.
Yeah, but I've got 3 participants. Who else is participating?
So far it's just us 3 online. So David, just so you know, on my end, and there's Robin. So I have everyone pop in as an attendee, and then I promote the OSAC members to panelist.
Thank you, Jillian. Got it.
Yep.
Hi, Cheryl. Part of Cheryl. I'll be right back.
There you are. Good evening.
Good evening. How's everybody?
Judith, hello.
Oh, good evening, everybody. Hi, Cheryl. How you doing?
Hi.
Enjoying the weather?
I was out on those roads today, getting back here. They weren't too fun.
Are you are you guys aware of the water main break?
No.
Is
Oh,
that near
boy.
the castle?
It's, from what I understand, it's near the Wichita parking lot. So traffic is shut off on Manitou Avenue from City Hall to at least the town clock. And we're kind of waiting. I don't know if water's going to be shut off or not, but it's a big break. So we'll see. What are you doing?
Oops. Sorry, I lost you. I just know that I had to take a little detour to get home because the castle, the roads going to the left and to the right up the hill on either side of the castle, were both closed.
Oh,
So
yeah. I don't know how they're detouring traffic because I haven't been in town. So we'll see. I mean, the weather, if it lets up will be a help, but I'll let you guys know if I get any updates.
Oh, good.
Is this the water issue?
The water main break.
That's a big deal if Manitou Avenue is closed. Where to detour people to, it gets tough.
Yeah, that's a hard one, especially when you're also plowing the roads. So never a dull moment.
No, those public work guys earn their salaries.
I'll say 1,000,000 times over. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, good. We've got another 4 people here.
One more, right?
Actually, four is a quorum, so
Okay.
Four.
we can party with 4.
1, 2, 3,
There
4.
we go. We got 5. We're rocking now.
I hate to put it this way, but she doesn't count.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, he didn't mean that.
It counts, but not for the numbers.
There we go.
See. Some paper.
Yeah.
We have 4 and a virtual extra Cheryl. So
Extra Cheryl? What
I'm
do you mean
seeing
by
two
that?
Cheryls.
I'm showing 6 of us.
You're showing 6 of us? I'm
Why do you
missing.
Say,
you don't see
and
two Cheryls this time, do you?
I
You
don't
should.
see 2 Cheryls.
No. I'm only checked in once this time.
Okay.
I see TJ
Well, you're
and
popping
Andrea.
back and forth on 2 with mine, but that's okay. But we have Yumi, David, and Robin. Is there somebody else?
You're missing me and
Andrea's
Andrea.
also on, and TJ.
Ah, there we go.
There's TJ.
TJ and Andrea's on?
Yeah.
Okay, we got a bundle. That's a little bit more than a quorum. And it is 6:02. We'll give it to 6:05 and then we'll rock and roll. This is nice. It's nice to see everybody. Merry Christmas time.
Yes,
We need, Judith needs to be here.
she is.
She's our party maven.
The other Judith.
Oh, Judy.
No, Judy. Somebody's making noises there. Like
The dog has a toy.
oh,
My new
okay.
puppy. She has a squeaky toy, so I'm gonna put myself on mute for
Okay.
now until I can grab it.
And Judy definitely needs to be here because we're going to talk about the partay. I think I'm maybe should, if I have my phone, I should maybe text her.
I'm letting Judy in now. Tim, I don't know if
Oh,
you can
good.
hear me.
Okay. That's the magic trick. You walk away to get your phone and they show up. TJ, nice to see you. You must be in town for a little while.
I just saw you a couple days ago.
I know. That's a rarity.
I know. I'm leaving next week though.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I won't get used to you. Okay. As soon as we have Judy in, we'll head into the exciting agenda.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's all I've got a picture in front of me, Zoom Workplace, join the meeting, but I'm trying, but won't let me in.
Okay. Yeah, we need to be able to see you because we're going to be voting on things.
That do it? Well,
Yep.
I've got,
You're a panelist now, Judy. You should be able to turn on your video.
okay. There we go.
There you are.
Yep. Is that everybody?
Except Nancy, yeah.
No Nancy Wilson. That's not a surprise, but it would be nice to have her here. Um, who are we missing? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Nobody. We're here.
6, 7. We're all here, all 7 of us.
Yeah.
Okay, let the record show that this meeting, the December 9 meeting, 2024 of OSAC's weekly meeting, which is the fill-in for the November 25th meeting where we didn't have a quorum, is now in session. And we have taken a roll call and all regular members are here. Okay. We have 2 openings for alternates. And we have one thing that we need to do, a happy thing, hopefully, which is election of vice chair, which we've put off for a little bit while. And so I'm asking now, does anybody have a motion for somebody for the position of vice chair?
Well, I think David would be a good vice chair. I'm just not,
Well,
know what
I'm willing to do it. It's just I'm the newest member. That's my only hesitation. So
gonna
I'm
say
certainly
that you're-
will defer to anybody else.
is there anybody else who wants to do it or can do it?
Well, I think if we have a willing and able nominee,
Okay.
we don't have to beat the bushes anymore. No, I think you'd be great at it, David. So we're opening this up. Do we have a second for David? Don't we do that?
I'll second.
Yeah, great. Okay, then let's open that up to conversation about David. My observation with him has been that he's outstanding at performing exactly the kinds of things that we need for somebody as a chairman or vice chairman to perform, and he takes it seriously, gets it done, and doesn't take it too seriously. So I see that as high praise.
Well, I can tell the committee I will have the time to do it. Because I am slowing my practice down for a couple of reasons. And the other thing is that I really have enjoyed it. Enjoy the work. Enjoy the trail work, and I'm looking forward to working with Andrea on that. She invited me to check in with her. So Andrea, I do need to schedule a coffee with you to come up to speed so you can tell me what I can help on.
That's great. That's great. That's a good combination. Yeah, I've got a couple of things to announce regarding that, but I'll wait for non-agenda items because this really isn't an agenda item. So let us vote on David. Does anybody else have anything to say about David? His deep, dark past or anything like that?
Well, he's
Okay.
with all trails and finding stuff. I will say that. Impressed.
Good. All right. Well, everybody in favor, please raise your right hand or left hand or whatever. It looks like we have all 6 of us voting for David for vice chair.
I'll abstain.
Yeah. I think we can therefore say that we have elected David vice chair of OSAC. Thank you, David. Thanks for stepping up, and I appreciate it. And I'm really glad that you're enjoying this. I enjoy being vice chair. I've actually enjoyed being chair as well. I've probably, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun for the most part. It's got its stressful side, but not that bad. So welcome. Thank you. That makes me really happy that we've got somebody who's competent and excited to have that position.
And has time.
What's that?
And has time.
And yes,
I said, and has time to work at
and
it.
he has time. And yes, that makes a big difference. I'm really glad for that. Okay, let's go on down and start peeling our way through the agenda. Approval of minutes. This is kind of interesting. The first one is the draft minutes of July 22nd, 2024. And I kind of stumbled on this. What I did is I went back and I looked at the tape and watched the meeting, and there was a lot missing on the stuff up front with the conversation with the Friends of Ruxton Canyon. There was some stuff that I said up front that at least I thought was significant and should be in there. And so what I did is rewrote that section as far as the minutes go. And that's okay. And it's, if I would have presented them here, you all could have read them and we could have voted on them, but I didn't do that. So we don't have anything. We can vote on everything else in those minutes, but we can't vote on that section. So what I suggest is, now that we've proved how essential these minutes are to our operating, we can put it off another month. We'll do this again in January, and we'll go over the meetings for July 7th, which were the meetings that included the multimedia business for Friends of Ruxton Canyon. Yeah, David.
I had just one comment on E2 on the Western Border Jenkins proposal. Do we know Kimberly's last name, Delahart? We might be able to correct that in the meantime. I do not.
Do we know her name?
Yeah, her last name, there's a question on whether we're spelling it right.
Oh, yeah, I question that too.
And
We
then
can-
the same thing on E1-4 on Judith Chandler's comment. Since she's a council member, we ought to spell council correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, COUNCIL. Since we're going to correct them, we might as well
We might as well correct it.
get it
yeah.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Tim, did you send the section you wrote to Alicia to add to the minutes?
No, that was my fault.
Okay.
I could read it right now, but it's a page and a half of 11 point.
That won't work.
And
Fine. Just make
I
sure she ends up
I
with a
find it
copy.
very entertaining, but I don't think anybody else would. So, yes, I will send that to her in the next. This is not Alicia's problem. This is my problem. And the only good thing about it is that there's nothing pressing on it for now. So we will put this off until next month and try it again. Okay, so drafts of minutes, August 26. We do have that.
August 12th. Oh, August 26th, yeah. I do have that.
August 26. So have people had a chance to look through this?
Correction
Yes.
on F2A, this is the bottom of page 10 of the packet.
Nicely done. Yeah.
Couple of misspellings there
Okay.
on F2A, very bottom of page 10. And then
Okay.
I had one other, and I might be able to find it. Let's see. Go ahead.
What was misspelled?
Emergency. Last line.
Yeah, it's spelled with a 3.
Oh, okay.
Instead of the E.
We should get a regular way to handle this, which we generally don't do because nobody's taking notes as the secretary. So my suggestion would be, and this might be not be a good suggestion, feel free to chime in, is for people that have corrections or changes or whatever, to go ahead and email those to me. And then I'll send those corrections as a bundle to our minutes person that's making those changes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Could I ask for a reminder? Andrea, this is on you on page 11. On existing trail maintenance on Red Mountain, there's a reference that we are figuring out 6B. We're figuring out using a GIS program. And I couldn't remember what that was. I know Jillian at the December 5 Black Canyon open space, she announced that the staff person who had done that was just about done and they were ready to upload that. Is that what we're talking about?
I think so, yeah. And that is what that was
Okay.
referencing.
Okay, thank you.
You know, it would be a good idea to get us together with Josh GIS, to have him train us a little bit on that and how we use it.
Okay.
Because we can sit here and say, yeah, we've everything's done, and then we walk away without doing anything. So is that something that you can set up, Jillian? Maybe whatever
Are you
Josh thinks
guys,
is necessary.
are you referring to the trail maintenance app that our staff uses? Or
I think that was referencing the GIS mapping that went into putting that live map up on the Manitou website.
okay, yeah, I could invite Josh to the next regular meeting to do a training.
Yeah,
Would that be helpful?
that'd be helpful.
Okay.
Let me make a note on that.
Is that something he can do in a short time? Or do we all need to be present with our cell phones, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm with Judy. What's the most effective way to do this? I'd like to do it, but I'm with Judy. We got to make it effective.
It
Well,
might be better in an in-person setting, but I'm not sure what would work best for this group.
Well, maybe Josh will have some idea on how to do it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll ask him.
You could maybe even make a video. I don't know if that's easy, but does he know? Are you clear on what we're asking? I don't know, Tim, I'm unclear, like just like what do you want training on as far
Yeah,
as
there's
that?
there's a couple of things. We've got a GIS package that's supposed to be pretty much done, sitting around with stuff that we're not supposed to see, which is all the utilities and stuff like that. But there was also supposed to be layers for OSAC interest, trails interest, and stuff like that. I'm not sure if we're repeating the same process with Josh, or if he's using what was done previously. And if it's any combination of the latter two, we want to take a look at both of them to see what we've really got there. So maybe Josh can clean that up for us too. Does that make any sense to you, Jillian?
It makes a little sense. So the trail maintenance app that we use, we're not allowed to share with OSAC because it's like city login information.
Right.
But what we can do is we can walk you through what we're using. And that way, when you guys report trail issues, it's easier to plug into the system. But we can't have OSAC on the trail maintenance app specifically, but we can, I mean, everyone's welcome to the interactive trail map that Josh created that I think is going up on the website this week.
Okay.
Well, maybe we
So-
should look at it and play with it and then see what questions we have, I guess.
Yeah, see how much value it has. The other app, the one we're not allowed to look at, looks like it might be very useful. So, but it might not be, for good reason. It might not be something we can get our hands on. So yeah, let's get it up and take a look at it. Let us know when we can do that.
Okay.
So let me see where we're at. We just did the draft minutes for August 26. And again, if anybody has minutes on those, we need to talk about them, approve them, and then send them to me, and I'll get them to. Who is the person that's handling those draft minutes now? Is that going to be I'm sorry, what's her name? Robinson?
Tim, yep, it's still Amanda Robinson, and then
Amanda
you can
Robinson.
always include Alicia on those emails also, because
Okay.
Alicia is Amanda's backup.
Okay.
But Tim, on August 22nd, I'm willing to make a motion to approve, 26th, I'm willing to make a motion to approve that. If someone has some concern, I'll hold off. What's your pleasure on that?
Go ahead and approve it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the August 26 minutes as they're presented here in our packet.
Do we hear a second?
I'll second that.
Good. Okay, all in favor? Please vote. Judy?
Yep, sorry.
Okay. Okay, we've got 7 of 7, so I think we're good. Okay, approval. August 22nd. Was that August 22nd or August
26th.
26th? There's 2 drafts up there they're talking about. Draft minutes of August 26th. Oh, I'm sorry, July 22nd. That's my problem. Okay. All right, draft minutes from November 12th. And I think that was one of our hikes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There's also a snowy day that cleared, I think.
Where's that?
It was also a snowy day. I think it cleared and we all showed up.
Showed up, and we misspelled Sutilla.
Oh, we did. Uh-oh. My bad. Where is that? SU 1L? What do I got wrong?
Yeah, just one L. Yeah.
Okay. I can correct that and resubmit that to Jillian.
To who?
To Jillian, right?
No.
I think you're going to send it to me.
Yeah, send it to Tim, David.
Okay.
And I'll just bundle whatever's applicable to a package, because I have to get in touch with Alicia once a month about packaging stuff and all that. So that'll work out okay. All right.
Can I just make a comment? If you're going to move to approve minutes that need corrections, you could put that in the motion. Just say, I move to approve the minutes with corrections as noted.
As noted. Okay. And where are they noted?
Well, if David is verbally noting, like Sutel, the name correction, you can call out those corrections individually, or you can just say as discussed in the meeting or as noted, just so it's on public record.
My only concern is that those are only available in a video meeting that nobody's going to go look at anyway. So I would like to go ahead and send that in to whoever can make a transcribed note of it.
Correct, but if you're going to have minutes and they need corrections, then you should defer approving them until they're corrected.
Okay. Defer approving.
So when city council has corrections, we either have to make a motion to accept the minutes as amended or corrected, or we have to take it off and put it on the next agenda.
Well, I see what you're saying.
See what I mean? So those corrections are made before you pass it. So
okay, so the verbiage we should be using is we're approving the minutes as corrected.
that's correct. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. And I can still submit these to Alicia and say, or whomever, and say, make these changes to the minutes.
Mhm.
Good. Okay. That's all I want. I will note that and upgrade my behavior. Okay, so we want to go back and approve the minutes both for August 26th and for November 12th, as amended in the discussion. That's what I move.
I'll second that.
Does anybody second that?
I will.
Okay. All in favor of doing that, raise your hand. Thanks. Everybody's in favor. We're happy. Okay. I just need to make a note to myself. Approve minutes as corrected. Okay, great. Next item, we're going on to November 12th report. This is the Carib stuff, and I don't think we have anything to look at. We either have no approved minutes, or we have a special meeting where minutes were not taken. Is that correct, Jillian?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So by default, we've accomplished that, and we have no new business per se, but we have a lot of old business to just at least talk about. And the first old business was, I think it was Creek Walk Phase 6. And what was the status on that? Something had changed.
Tim, I'll pull up the email that Josh sent with that update. So I'm just going to read his email. Creek Walk 4 is currently still under final historical clearances, should be completed by late November or early December. Creek Walk Phase 6 is still under the design phase. An environmental assessment is scheduled with CDOT. Creek Walk 4 is likely to begin construction in early 2025, with Phase 6 following later in the year.
I think that is absolutely perfect. And we need to enter that in the record. And I'm sure I have that email, but if you could just send that to me again, Jillian, I'd appreciate it. And we'll put it in the January meeting. We'll find some way to slip that in. What would we call that? We could call that just a status update for Creek Walk. Yeah. Okay. And we can vote on it then when we all have it in front of us. Okay.
Tim,
So Josh is.
can you remind me what Creek Walk 4 is? I don't seem to have a map of that.
It's nothing that we have anything to do with.
Well, where is it? It's from where to where?
It's from the chamber at Mayfair to the Chase Bank.
Okay,
And
okay.
And there will be a Creek Walk Phase 5. We're talking about it, but
right.
not yet.
Right now, the only thing that we're being drawn into, and this won't last, but is Creek Walk Phase 6.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not doing anything there that requires funding thus far from OSAC, but we will, and it'll be a lot of money. So it's something that we should keep our eye out on. Okay. Fields Park Creek Walk. Well, that's kind of nice. All I have in there for that is a picture. And it's a cleaned up view of Fields Park. And that's because we paid somebody to go in there and clean it up. And it looks pretty good, but you know, it's going to be overgrown as soon as the rains come, but that's the way it is with fields and parks. The fence is still visible, and because the fence is still there,
No,
I
it's
don't know.
not. The fence is
Uh,
down.
Well, the
Yeah,
fence is on now?
It
the
looks
fence
really
was
great.
taken down. Yeah, the fence was taken down last week. Peak Fencing is going to be removing the remainder of the fence. It's kind of in piles on the ground. They're
Yeah.
removing it this week and taking out one final post, but I think it looks awesome. And we're going to go in and do some cleanup. There's some trash in there, and Matthew's going to pull out some of the downed brush, but it looks really good, you guys. You should go check it out.
All right, that's great. And we can, every time we see Danu, we can put our noses up in the air and say, you should take care of that, you know, because it's now her problem. Not quite, but we're ready to go to council anytime on it. All right.
So what do we have to do to move that forward? Was the concept to transfer that to parks?
Okay, that's in not okay. That's almost entirely in Danu's corner. She doesn't want to do it. It's not because she doesn't want to have the property in the park. She just doesn't. She's just pissed off at planning for making us do this.
And right now, planning is taking it from here. So they're working on the rezoning. So we don't need anything right now from OSAC or Parab. So
Okay.
we're making it easy, okay?
Danu can be pretty pushy, and she probably won. So they're doing all the work. Good for her. That's great. Okay, so we have nothing to do right now until somebody tells us to do it. That's good. Okay, Bill Bauer Trail Development. This is really interesting. Who was here for the discussion of the three ladies? There's Jess Wilson and then two of her friends. And Judy, you want to talk about that? You were fairly articulate about it last time.
Well, what we discussed last meeting that wasn't a meeting was I felt like after listening to those gals and thinking about all they said, I'm not enthused about making a trail that will invite homeless or will invite kids when it appears that the trail is going to be somewhat difficult. And the things we heard before we did the actual action on the property were things like, oh, we can put a bike trail there and it'll be so great and the kids can ride their bikes to school. But I can't speak for everybody else, but I really never considered their observations about the wildlife and their observations about the possibilities of even just plain old hikers making that short hike. And then what are they going to do? Hike up to Bevers to go up on the trails? It's just a stretch. And for me, and I'm really concerned about the safety issues they brought up and the wildlife issues they brought up. And I don't know, I'm very ambivalent about it right now. We don't even have the choke point. That's a problem, even if we wanted to develop it. But right now, I think we have better things to do with our time and money. And for me, I know people are in a hurry to get Mr. Rose to give us the property that we need. And I think that's good to get it, just be done with it. But I'm not enthused right now about getting in there and starting to develop something we might want to reconsider. And especially, which I thought was very powerful, the idea of not moving an inch until we have some community input from the neighbors around. I thought that was super important. I think we kind of jumped that.
I kind of felt that way too. Actually, as I sat there listening to him, I thought, God, we're a bunch of arrogant people. We're going in there and assuming that
it's not our neighborhood. Yeah.
This stretch of trail, which really only significantly affects their neighborhood, that we have any idea what we should do about it. I mean, it's all in good faith, but I think now, where did Robin go? I don't have her.
She's right. She's there.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. I've been counting you as a yes vote, so let me,
On anything.
Haven't voted no on anything yet.
we,
Could be
we
a
need
first.
your picture for voting, but you had started the community involvement process, right, Robin?
Well, yes, I had a meeting with Jillian and the public guy. And that's about as far as we got.
Okay.
And so with that pinch point, everything, we decided to put that off. Because even the idea of if we did want to do a trail, then that was going to be a problem. So
Yeah. So we're jumping the gun on two things, having the property and having the approval of the community. I would love to see some sort of analytic way of going in and getting people's, especially the people that are living right up on that canyon, of finding out what they actually want. What a concept, huh?
well, I'm not sure we really jumped the gun much. I mean, we were planning to have public input, and I'm not sure that we were really going to pay a lot of money for trail alignment until we had the public input.
Right.
So we were just kind of lining things up in case everyone in the community thought that was a good idea, which but I do think that until we get more property, we just can't even consider a trail because of that pinch point. And that's just it's too close to the neighbors. Even if people did want a trail, I think it would need to be better planned. So I think we're at a standstill on that.
Well, I think what Judy's saying and what I heard from Jess Wilson and her friends was that we would be jumping the gun to go after the property. What we should do first is find out what the people, the community along that gorge really wants us to do. Because I don't think we're going to go in there. Just a second, Andrea. I don't think we're going to go in there and find out that the people don't want trail down through there, or at least or anything over a path or whatever. We're not going to go in there and find out they don't want what we're wanting to build and build it anyway. It's just too limited to their concerns. Yeah, Andrea.
I mean, this was like, I just makes me like question like the whole process with all of it, you know? I mean, and I know Shannon was like really gung ho on this, and I mean, that was his vision. And, so we got this property, and so, I mean, maybe just like opening it up to like a more general, I mean, I guess it was purchased with like open space zoning. I'm not sure how that is all set up.
Yeah, purchase with open space fund, and the zoning has to be done after that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the community should definitely have their voice heard, and it shouldn't just be the neighbors. It's also the wider, Manitou community, trail users or whatever, people that want off-road, access to different neighborhoods. But yeah, I think it is good to start thinking about that side of it for sure.
So
yeah, Judy.
I think that there's another aspect to this that I worry about a little bit, and because of that, I think we ought to move forward on the community input, and that is because when people voice their opinions, they're telling you something, and I think it's up to a committee like ours to listen, and if you listen, then the next thing to do is say, yeah, let's talk. Instead of saying, listen, we'll get back to you when we get the property, because that leaves them in a place where they're going, what the heck are they doing? Did they remember? Do they remember us? As opposed to reaching out really promptly and saying, we really heard you, we're really concerned, we really want to hear more. We're going to have this meeting in January or February, long before, even if Mr. Rose wakes up and one day walks over and hands Tim the deed, even if that happens, we don't need to be unprepared for the reaction. If we can get the neighbors who are concerned, if we can give them their voice and hear them and tell them we are having the same concerns. I don't think that's a bad way to go, because like you say, we're not going to do anything about it now anyway. So why wouldn't we give them the chance to talk and voice their concerns? I see no harm in it. I see it as very positive, saying, hey, we were at that meeting and Bango, they're going to have a community discussion. And I think that's a good thing.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate for just a second. I do see a potential problem in that, and that is that almost every place you go can deteriorate to a NIMBY attitude, where people don't want a trail built because it's too close to their backyard or whatever. There's always going to be somebody. There's always going to be a strong group that don't want anything changed. I'm one of those in Crystal Hills. I don't want to see roads built in here, expansions in here, and stuff like that. So I kind of understand that from the NIMBY person point of view. But that doesn't mean that you can't discuss that and whatever. In this case, it's really confined. There's not much, there's no connection above, and there's really no connection except to a perfectly good road below. So, yeah, I think the neighbors have a pretty good argument to say, hey, this is much more a concern to us than it is to anyone else. I don't know. I guess we'll get that information.
May I make a comment?
Yeah.
And my role is to really stay as neutral as I possibly can, but it's hard too, because, I live here and, I hike that area with Tim, and I have very serious concerns about wildlife habitat. That this is a ripe riparian corridor, and I have concerns about we're choking off deer migration paths with our vision for the URA, and we're going to do that again with a Dillon parking lot. And I understand that change is necessary and it's important, but I think that this particular area really deserves an environmental impact, or a wildlife impact, environmental impact study, or to at least ask the community if that's something that they want to have that information before they make a decision. Because a trail would really, that would really forever change the landscape of that pristine little area down there. So just food for thought.
Mr. Maltese?
Kind of on the fence on this one too. I like what Andrea was saying too about getting other user groups in there and hearing from more of the community rather than a select group that has come to us before, just to get more more opinions on it. As for what Judith just said, sounds good and that kind of stuff, but let's not forget that this was private property up for development as well. So before we acquired it for open space, and the trail, while it's going to be going through there, I'm not quite certain what the impact is going to be and whether it's going to be substantial compared to all of the other development that was around or potential development. So it can go very many ways, but I would like to hear more opinions from a wider swath of people.
Who would you widen that out to, TJ?
Various user groups that might use the trail as well, and really engage more people in that area too. I know that there's a lot of people in our community that when there's a undeveloped area, whether it's public or private property that joins them, they tend to kind of really glom onto that and consider it really part of their own area there and not want to see a lot of change there. But the fact is that it is city property, and we should do what's best for our trail user groups and for the what Judith said as well is for preparing, protecting the riparian area and wildlife and things. But the problem is what I'm thinking about that with the deer and stuff like that is we're not really short on deer around here in Manitou or anything like that. And I'm not sure if that's, but a wildlife study might inform us a little more.
You haven't seen the signs. We need more deer.
I haven't seen the deer respecting the speed bumps. No.
Yeah, right.
But the turkey,
we have a lot of deer here, that's for sure. I didn't see much sign of bear. I did see one scat pile, but not much.
they were pretty active up in the hills in November. They were busy.
So I think, if I'm listening correctly, that we're saying, yeah, let's go ahead with the community involvement and let's widen that out a little bit to the user groups that might be interested in this. And that certainly includes the mountain bikers. And
So how do we do that? Do we go to somebody in the city and say, or do we do
well,
that?
Robin is now the expert on this.
Oh, excuse me, Robin, I'll be glad to work with you.
There you go, Robin.
A partner, I'd be glad to do that.
Well, I think that Jillian,
Just passing the buck, that was smooth.
but yeah, I think that we, discuss with the public relations guy in Manitou and have him draw up a public statement of what we're wanting information on and wanting, another survey of the residents in all of Manitou of what, if this is possible, what would you like? And so I'm not quite sure, do we put in there the steps that we would like to do animal, wildlife study and, studies would be done. And so I'm not sure, someone in the city draws that up.
Yeah, Robin, and we have a new public information officer. Her name is Cassandra. So I'll get a hold of Cass after this meeting just to let her know that this is something OSAC is interested in putting out. She's going to have a ton of questions for you guys to answer about this, and then she's going to craft the survey, and she'll have a link available that we can send out to all the user groups that we want to include as well. We could also put it on our social media and make it pretty wide reaching. So Cass will formulate the survey, but she's going to have additional questions for OSAC about specifically what do you want to know from Manitou residents and user groups. So I'll spearhead that and loop you in, Robin. Okay. Okay.
Okay. I would like to, I don't know how we do this, but I would like to put some concentric circles on that so that we can do a survey within the population of the people that are living in the neighborhood. You get out to halfway across Manitou and people probably don't have the slightest idea what Bill Bauer Park is. It's not an important item to them.
I'm just wondering though, since it is city property, do we not have an obligation to include the whole city if they want to respond?
Yeah, I think I think we've got that's always the case. We've got a lot of people that have very good reasons to feel that they should have a stronger say in what happens. And then we've got all the rest of us who think that we should have a strong say in it because we're in Manitou. And how do you play that out? I don't know. I guess you just talk to people and
But
see how.
Wouldn't one way be to have them identified by maybe districts in Manitou or neighborhoods in Manitou?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying with concentric circles, just identifying people's opinions from the
So that would
neighborhood, the
part of-
wider neighborhood, and expanding
So-
out.
So we would be getting the whole city's opinions, but identifying what,
What
Yeah,
areas?
whatever they're in.
how far away? Maybe that's not the best metric.
How
but it's
far away
probably-
from Bill Bowers Park? They will say, well, where is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But
You can.
and then the question becomes, what do you do with that data? This is a hard thing to do. It's complicated and it's difficult, and this is what statisticians deal with all the time.
I think
Yeah.
Judith. Question.
You can borrow the method that we used in the last community survey, and we broke it out into zones. So we wanted to know what zone you were in. The other thing is we asked, are you a Manitou resident or not? So we didn't eliminate someone from filling out the survey if they didn't live in Manitou, but we flagged those people as not living here. And I think that's really important because I totally agree with you, Tim, that the people that are most impacted, we should definitely know who they are and what they're saying. Then we should also know citywide what people are saying. And then also, if we have stakeholder groups that are not in this city but have a clear opinion, while I'm interested in hearing what they have to say, I don't hold their I don't give that as much weight as I do the residents of Manitou.
So isn't there a system that you could weight their answers?
So you can just use and maybe Cassandra can do this, is look at how the community survey was done and use that same format. It's already kind of baked in. So I don't think you have to reinvent the wheel on that one.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's great. I'm interested in talking to Cassandra. I'm just kind of interested in this stuff because it's tough to get information out of this stuff that you can immediately use effectively. And I'll be interested to see what she comes up with. So I guess our takeaway from this is for Jillian to start the process and then get us involved where it makes sense.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, yeah, because my sense is we're approving this, if you will, internally, but we need to hear from Cassandra before we give a final approval.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're just brainstorming.
Have fun.
Okay. So,
One more question though.
yeah,
Jillian, you said that Cassandra or Cass would be contacting OSAC to ask us questions about the types of information that we want to know. And so do we need to be working on those ideas before she contacts us, or just after or during, or what?
So what I think will happen is I'll let her know the general idea, and at the next regular OSAC meeting, we'll go through whatever questions she has so she can develop this survey as a group, since we can't do this via email.
Right.
So
that
we're
could
not
be
going to
like
get
on
the
the
survey
agenda.
out next week. This will be kind of a process, but we can get it moving forward. So I'd say it should be an agenda item on the next regular OSAC meeting.
yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of conversations about this, and it has to be public conversations. So it's interesting. Okay. So the okay is to taking the next step, and that's we'll wait to hear from Jillian's interface with Cassandra and see where we take it from there. I think we're going to get very confused, which is okay. All right. So Billbauer Trail. And yes, we're going to do the community outreach now. Whatever is happening with Larry Rose. All I get from him are nice vibes and a no. So anyway, I don't know what that means. So the next item on our agenda is Black Canyon Open Space, and I kind of just threw that over to David because he started having a lot of input and a lot of effect when we started doing the guided tours and stuff like that, because he's been doing that. I've been limping around, just enjoying watching it. So Larry, you want to talk about Black Canyon at this point? And maybe this is a good point. I was going to mention this at the beginning, but I want to mention an event that occurred with me on Thursday when we did the work group. And this has kind of a little bit of a backstory. I had a couple of strokes in November, and I still have a little bit of an effect from those, and some of them were very apparent at the meeting on Thursday. And I went in there and I walked up to David and immediately asked him a simple question about something. And I really didn't know. I was very confused. I was kind of, how do I explain this? I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I walked in. I had a complete blank of memory. I couldn't remember people's names. I couldn't remember what my position was with OSAC. And I was just supposed to stand up there and give a little, 5 to 8 minute brief on the property itself and our goals up there. And I think I had still have a nice little prep on that thought out. And that's what I walked in with. And there wasn't an iota of that in my brain. This was a bad scene. I presented very poorly for OSAC. You kind of had the Walking Dead in there presenting for OSAC. It was kind of scary. It was, I felt very uncomfortable with it, to say the least. And I probably should have just gone, I'm not feeling well, and walked out, but I didn't have the presence of mind to do that. And anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up isn't for, well, number one, I want people to understand that there was something going on there. I just didn't show up drunk or something. And also that there was a good reason for this. It's just, this happens to people all the time. People have strokes all the time, and they get over it, and they get through it, and whatever. And right now I'm going through a series of stuff neurologically, and that's affected my ability, at least in any kind of stress situation, to trust myself to perform properly. Putting that out there, I've probably terrified David, because he is now the vice chair. It's going good. I had an evening to prepare for this. But one of my statements to David, I tried to get hold of David today and I didn't manage to do that. But one of my statements is what I plan on doing right now is my term is up at the end of March. And I was going to have my other knee hacked on in February. I'm going to skip that, and I'm just going to finish out my term. into March. And at that point, you've got a very effective, I believe, very effective vice chair. He may or may not want to be chair. That's the problem. And we don't have somebody that's leaping up and down to be vice chair. So we need to think about that, and we need to fix that. That's a problem right now, is we don't have somebody that's stepping up to be vice chair. But there are other people out there, and there are people we can approach. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because it's a fact of my tenure here. And it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. But I don't enjoy being in a situation like that where I can't perform reasonably. So my apologies, if apologies is really due, but I'm sorry that happened, and I can't promise it won't happen again. But I don't, I feel fine right now. That's all I can say. And that was an unfortunate situation. So I will get together with David and make sure, David, is David still with us here in this conversation?
Yep.
Okay, David, you don't have any obligation at all to become chairperson. There will be a lot of pressure on you to do that. But right now, you don't have any obligation on that. And if that comes up as a problem, then that's a problem we got to solve. And it's not your problem. Okay. All right. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, yeah, just let us know if you're having one of those days, because any of us can try to step in. Certainly in a public setting like that, if you need someone to act in your stead, just let us know, and we'll find one of us who can try to fill your shoes. You try.
Yeah, it was a total, I've never had that happen to me before. And I've looked around, and it does happen to people. And yeah, so it happened to me. I didn't expect it. And maybe if I'd expected or known that that was a thing, I could have done something about it besides roam around and try to talk to people. Okay. Thank you. All right.
We had that workshop on the 5th. See, Andrea was there, and Jillian was there, and TJ was there along with me and Tim. I tried to take, if you will, take names. Everyone there was either staff or OSAC or Kimley Horn, and I only counted 8 independent citizens, which I didn't really surprise me. I mean, it was a nice evening. It wasn't like tonight, but there were only 8 that I could identify citizens. I noticed that Jim Younce was there, former OSAC chair. I met him. I knew his name. I hadn't met him before. So I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like that was very much participation. On the other hand, the community survey, according to Steve Myers, had about 40 responses. Some of those responses are from us. I know I've responded to it. Excuse me. So I look forward to looking at that survey results. Right now, the plan, as you see on page 15 of the packet, is late January. Kimberly Horn's going to make a presentation to us. Jillian, I know I really want to ask to see that in advance. I don't want to see that for the first time a day in advance of our meeting. I don't think that's adequate for any of us on the committee to one, make sure we have time to look at it, but also to think about it. And that may well be in their schedule, but I'd sure like to get that on like the 22nd or the 21st. So
we can get it earlier, David. Honestly, they thought they were going to be presenting to you guys this month. So they're going to have it ready way before the 29th. So we'll make a point to get that out to you guys earlier.
Okay.
Yep.
Because otherwise I don't think the committee has we call it a fair or an opportunity to really be competent to critique it and decide whether we want to recommend it or what we want to recommend to city council. And again, I haven't been through this process before. I'm the new member, but that was my concern. But as you see on page 15, the new schedule, Jillian is correct. It was going to be in December, which is going to be a real fast track, streamline. It's now January 27th. That's what, 6 weeks away. So that's a lot of time. And then ultimately February or March, depending on the pleasure of the committee, will make a presentation to city council. We do have to get that on council's agenda. There's a little bit more lead time on that than there is on our agenda, I think. But anyway, that's the plan right now. So it's wait to hear from Kimberly Horn. I tried to forward the second email to myself here so I could read it at home this evening, and I was, for some reason, unsuccessful doing that. But I think Kimberly sent the survey results. Jillian, you distributed that today as well, I think.
Yeah, I sent that out this morning it's a PDF form, but it's a really large file. I know Judy tried to print it. It's on 11 by 17.
Yeah,
Just so you guys know, if you try to print, you're gonna have to shrink it unless you have a large printer.
but there's a
Um,
small print in it already. So
Okay.
when you shrink it, you got nothing.
okay.
Well, I look forward to looking at it. I haven't seen it. It'd be interesting to see what sort of input they got and whether that changes or tweaks Kimberly Horn's direction on the nature of the trails that have been proposed. I don't know any more than what I've just shared with you. Does anybody else have some input on that, or have you had a chance to, anyone else had a chance to look at it?
I couldn't get the thing to print.
Yeah, okay.
I do have a question. I guess it's maybe for Jillian or maybe it's for the Kimberly Horn folks. But I'm wondering if, yeah, like how do we communicate that kind of stuff with like the community? Like is it, so I know it's all the information's on the website, which is super awesome. It's easy to find it and check stuff out. Are there any like social media type posts or like how do we reach out, I guess, is my
Who are we reaching out to?
well, just like more people, community, and just saying, hey, you can go to the city's website to check out,
Oh,
the information that Kimberly Horn has presented at this point there, and maybe direct them to the survey link.
Well, what I
I can
know,
ask-
go ahead, Jillian, if you
Well,
got
I
it.
can ask Cassandra to do another social media post promoting the information we have, and then if the survey is still open, asking folks to take the survey.
That would be great.
Other than
Yeah.
that, I'm not sure what else we would do.
You got only 40 responses? Is that what I heard correctly?
45
Okay, 45.
so far.
And then when does the survey close? Or doesn't it?
I believe it closes this Thursday. It closes a week after the community workshop. But we could keep it open. I forget why exactly they were closing it a week after the workshop.
Maybe
So I'll look into that.
maybe because they figured nobody'd be doing anything next week because of Christmas and the kids out. I don't know.
Well, I think it was leading up to the community workshop. Maybe that's why. But I hear Andrea's comment. If we've got more time, we don't want to compress Kimberly Horn to having to. But on the other hand, gee, we have 6 weeks. They already know what the 45 results are. If we held it open a bit more, it'd be interesting. So what is that something we contact Jim Hauk or Steve Myers about and just ask what their process is between now and when
that would be a good thing to do, as well as ask Cassandra if we're misusing the data to open it up beyond the initial time period. There might be a good statistical reason that they don't want to do that. It may dilute the input. I don't know. There's all statistics is it's not simple most of the time.
So would that be something that Julian would contact Kimberly Horn, or you would, Tim?
So
How do-
I'll reach out to Cassandra and Kimley Horn just to let them know that we'd like to get more responses from the survey, but I'm sure they have a method to the madness also. You have to cut the survey off eventually so they can use the data that's been collected instead of having it continuously come in so they can put together their plan. But I will ask them if they can keep it open longer and if we can promote it more. And I'll share what I find.
Maybe
Yeah.
even through the end of the month.
And would you also ask them what their distribution date is to the committee members in advance of January 27? What's their proposed date to distribute to us?
I'll ask.
Hopefully a good week or more in advance, I hope. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up, David. Good point. Okay, black hand of the canyon. Yeah, Black Canyon open space, and the next item is existing trail maintenance. I always tend to have Andrea and Tim down there. Iron Mountain. I have some pictures in there, and the pictures have some meaning. The first two pictures are pictures of the gully that I took, and I've got a set of these, but somehow my UBS isn't working to transfer pictures right now. But there's a tape measure up there, and you may wonder what that is, or you may not. But the issue that I was trying to think about, it was that we had some information that Steve Beisel might have some right-of-way through here. Right-of-way, that's not the term.
Easement?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Might have a right-of-way through here. And my concern was that Mr. Beisler, being the argumentative fellow that he is, might come up there and say, hey, you've now ruined this trail. This was a 12-foot wide road up here at one time, and now you've gone in and you've torn this down to be 5 feet apart. So I have this picture of 5-foot tape measure going up there and showing that, no, it's on the slant. It's not even 5 feet wide all the way up there. And what we've done is improve it. Even if you wanted to get a small motor vehicle up there. So anyway, after that, we were happily going up to look at Chad's work, Chad Ladowski's work, Traction Trail Works. And it looks great. I mean, it looks like it's professionally done and should withstand the rain. And it's what do you call it when they pile the rocks up there to stop it from
Sustainable?
Sustainable, but what do they call it? The armoring. It looks like it's well armored against the washouts that we had before. And if you go up there and look at, let's see what picture this is. Look at page 20 of 34. This is the intersection. If you've been up there before, this is the intersection of Oak Ridge Road, and on the right, it's still the road. At that point, it's accessible by the people up there in Crystal Park. And it was running water down. That was the main cause of the washout, was coming down here. And one of the things that Chad did, the owner of Trailworks, was he built sloughs so that water would run off on our side, so we weren't drowning anybody down below. So we should have a pretty good system in place to keep it from just happening all over again. And we'll find out. We'll have heavy rains and we'll take a look and see what it does. Andrea, you're more of an expert, or I should say you are an expert. I'm certainly not on this kind of stuff. Have you been up there and taken a look at it?
I have not actually been up there, but I have heard positive feedback from a couple different people, and so that makes me happy. But I will try and get up there and check it out soon.
Yeah, yeah. We'll know more after the next big runoff.
Tim, what about the gully and
At the bottom down there.
Yeah.
Here's what happened on that is that we had mentioned that in the RFP, but I did a walkthrough with this property months before. We did the walkthrough with the 4 other contractors. And at that point, I thought about that gully down there. And that's when I did the walkthrough with those people. And we talked about the gully down there and everything. So Chad didn't have the opportunity to hear that or have part of that conversation. So he's really not, I think from my point of view, he's off the hook for that. But he seems to be very copacetic about going up there and making it right again for, I suspect he's going to want to be paid for it, but he's going to be available to take care of that. What we're talking about here, if you look at page 20, it's got some big yellow arrows on it there. Those big yellow arrows indicate a problem if you're going up from Crystal Park Road and you've gone all the way up towards Iron Mountain. You're going to go past this hairpin here, and that's just taking all of the water from a couple of different runoffs and running it right down and by the trail that I called what is it? It actually has a name.
Oh, yeah.
I forget it. Anyway, it's the trail that goes down, and Andrea and TJ, you'll know this, the trail that goes down past where the Jenkins actually live, where the road is. What do you call that? There's a official name for that. But anyway, it doesn't matter as long as you know where it is. All of the water running down there is running down that gully. And it's already kind of working its way towards where our trail is. And I just wanted to find a way to throw in enough boulders in there to slow that down, to keep that from being a problem in a year rather than 5 years or something like that. So I want Chad to take a look at that again.
What do we do? Schedule that on some calendar for a spring check?
Yeah, we should. Right now, Chad is saying he can't do anything until well into springtime. So the calendar that we want to schedule that on is with Chad, and I can get a hold of him, or Jillian can get a hold of him. I don't know. Jillian seems to have more push, but we are paying for it, so we should maintain a little bit of push. And okay. I'll take a note on that though. Okay. You know, the other thing we needed to talk about here, and did we slip right by it?
It's what? What are you thinking?
We needed to talk about, shoot, that is not in here. I'm sorry, I had a packet in here that was all of the work. It was the 2024 completion packet for Remfi.
Yeah, it's at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in there. Yep.
20, page 23. Jillian has an intro.
Oh, okay, great. We did
yeah.
go through that. Thought it dumped off the edge. Okay, what this is about is, like I said, their 2024 completion report, which is nicely done, and also there's at the end of that is, no, it must be at the beginning of this. Let me go back here. Sorry, it's a little confused. Remfi. Okay, right at the beginning of this. So on page 22, there is a letter from the executive director of Remfi about increases that they want to make to Remfi's charges. So they want to go from 20. They asked to go from $20,000. This is for 15 work days, and that each work day is for 5 people. So that's 75 days work. We're right now paying them $20,000. Okay. And they want to go from $20,000 to $27,000, $27,100. And my opinion was, I had a little bit of a rough time with getting information from Remfi last season. I asked a lot of questions. I sent a lot of emails. I left phone messages, and I rarely got back the information that I was interested in. I'm not sure that was their fault. It was to some degree. I mean, we're their customer. They should respond back. And but some of that may be the internal communications of OSAC and Parks and Rec and how we manage that. I ended up being very frustrated by that. So my view of this is, let's, that's something like a 35% increase. I would say let's do a 20% increase. That is what the escalation in cost was over the 3 years that we're talking about. So why don't we agree to pay them an additional $4,000? That's 20% increase. That's a cost of living increase. And we can defer the rest of that, the other $7,000, until next year for a decision on that.
Tim, do we have an existing contract with them that binds them for 2 or 3 years? I don't know
and we're now running out the 3rd year on this, I believe. So you're shaking your head no, Andrea.
No, I don't think there was actually, Jillian, I should defer to you, but I don't think we actually signed a contract with them at all. But we had discussed that at some meetings about putting something like that in place.
Oh, wow.
But there was an optional 3-year contract that the city has with Remfi right now, and 2025 would be the optional 3rd year. So the issue that Jolie brought up was their going rate for 3 weeks of trail work, 15 days, is now $27,100. So when this contract was originated, it was 20,000 got you 15 days of trail work, but due to rising costs, additional health care for their employees, the like what they would charge right now would be that 27,100. So she had asked if we would be willing to up how much we're paying in 2025 for those 15 days. If we don't, we do have them under, it's an optional contract though. So I don't think we are obligated to go for it. But I don't know if they can provide 15 days of trail work on that 20 grand again. And I did email Jolie to ask for a breakdown. But like I emailed you guys this morning, she's no longer with Rimfee. So we're kind of at a standstill when it comes to getting that cost breakdown.
Okay. Again, it's, 20% is what the inflation was over the last 3 years. So that's a cost of living increase. Yeah, a breakdown on the rest of it would be interesting. And just to see how they respond to that, that's a pretty reasonable request, is that we do the cost of living increase, and we consider the additional $7,000 over the next year. All they can do is say no.
Well, except they could.
Yeah. Or we could hire them for less time, maybe.
Well, except they use every day we give them. I mean, they really did a lot this year. I thought that was really good. I think
Yeah.
the other thing is, Tim, is there, I guess I want to say, is it better to make them crabby first? Or is it better to iron out your differences first? Because if you feel like, I can't tell from the conversation, just being honest, if everything I know has gone up more than 20%, I'll tell you that. And
Everything you know what?
everything that I buy, know, labor, working with has gone up much more than 20%, especially this last 2 years. But cost of stuff. But my question to you is, I think their work, we don't have any complaints about their work that I know of. Is if the question is you're not happy about the communications, which is valid, then why wouldn't we address that and say that, and not say, well, we're not going to pay anymore, and they're going to say, well, fine, we'll be finding someone else or going to some other.
Okay, here's a partial answer to that. I've got a meeting with Carl Woody tomorrow to sit down over coffee and talk about communications with them.
With
That is
Rimfee.
good news. Yeah.
With Rimfee, yeah.
That's
What's
great.
that?
That's great.
Yeah, right. It took Julian stepping in to get me that cup of coffee.
Did you pay for it, Julian?
And who is this person? Who?
He's one of the main people at Rimfee.
Yeah. I don't know why there was a problem there. That's why I was trying to get a cup of coffee with him. I had a phone call into him. I had a nice text to him or email to him, and Jillian stepped in a little early, so I don't really know what the cause and effect was. So I'm gonna sit down with Carl and
Have your coffee.
I think once he realizes that, from reading their product completion report, I don't think he realizes that that the money that he's being paid is coming to him from the open space account. And I think that's important. That means that he should talk to us.
I know. I was actually going to say just that. Maybe the problem is not just you. Maybe the problem is those folks feel like they're and I'm just hypothesizing, but maybe the problem is that somebody there or a few people there at Renfee on the receiving end of all that say they never, we get it from this person, we get something from Tim, we get something over here, and they just say, what we need is a very clear line of who's going to send emails. So we answer that person and that person disseminates it to everybody on your, I'm just hypothesizing, but I think clearing the air, if that's an issue, helps us be better with them, saves time all the way around.
Absolutely.
It's a great idea.
Would it be helpful to have our up and coming, well, our new vice chair go along with you, since he's going to be having some, if you're willing, Dave,
Able.
would it
And
be
available.
helpful? I mean, is that something we should be considering too, like an ongoing relationship with, is that person going to be around later too, or?
I think that's great, and I had every intention of bringing David up in the conversation.
Yeah, let's let Tim have that in the initial one, see where it goes. Sounds like Renfree's in some transition right now anyway.
They are in some transition right now, yeah. So yeah, I'm not trying to just beat them up on money for the hell of it, just because I'm pissed off. All they have to do is be nice to us, and I'm good enough. That's good enough. Be nice. I should say that. Be professional with us in their communication. That's all I'm looking for.
Well,
I don't want to have to ask a question 3 or 4 times and then grub around to get somebody to answer it for
I
us.
think that's valid because
I don't waste people's time. I don't want other people wasting mine. So
I think that's valid. I just think what I'm afraid of, I mean, I've watched over the years all the trouble we have, we got to hurry up and line up Renfee, and we got to line up these people because they're busy, get on their schedule. Obviously, their work is good enough that people other than us think they're worth hiring. And I'd hate to lose them and us sit in 2025 with nobody because we were inflexible. And that's what I'm worried about. And I don't know if, and I'm not frivolous, that is just not me, but I don't know that $7,100 over a season of problems and things and the list we have to fix things. I don't know if we wouldn't rather be the good guys than the bad guys. And I think clarifying this problem would be worth something.
my intent with getting together with Woody, with Carl, is not to point fingers. It's just to say, hey, something broke down here. Let's get it fixed. Mm-hmm. And I see no reason whatsoever that we can't do that.
I don't either. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just ambivalent about saying like trying to lowball them for last year and the year before and before that, saying, well, it was good enough and then, and we'll see about 2025 and 2025. I don't feel edgy about that. Just
I understand. We don't want to lose these people.
Yeah.
So
But
I have a question. If we couldn't use Renfee, who else would we go to? And do we have an idea of what they charge? So
yeah, and I think we should find that
over or
I think we should find that out this season. I think we've got work up there that we need to get a second opinion on. We've been told it's going to cost 5 weeks of, so more time than we have allotted for a season by
what about
40%.
How did you find them?
Pardon me?
What about Traction Trail Works? You said they did a great job.
They wouldn't do that job. They're a heavy equipment.
That's what I remember, but I wasn't sure if they did the other two.
I don't think so. But there are organizations, I can't remember the one in my mind, that Nancy Wilson worked with and had some success
That
with.
was the Mile High Youth Corps.
Pardon me?
That was the Mile High Youth Corps?
No.
She worked with Nancy Wilson?
No, she also worked with, or is aware of the guy that built the Iron Mountain Trail. And I can't remember
Tony
his
Boone.
name.
Name's Tony Boone, yeah.
Okay, so what is everybody's opinion on him?
I don't know anything about him.
Okay,
I knew he's with, well, I don't know like what the most current status is, but he was working through the company, Timberline Trailcraft.
Timberland, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. And he'd done some work on the Northern Return Trail over by the incline.
Okay, look, I'm not trying to get rid of Remfe just because they didn't answer my emails or
That was
telephone calls.
sulking.
I'm just trying to get, but it is irritating and it's unprofessional. You know, somebody that's paying you asks you a question, you ought to at least say, "I'll get back to you with it,"
And mean it.
and mean it.
So
Yeah.
I have
Well,
a-
I think we'll take care of most of this at coffee on Tuesday, and let's see where that goes.
Good.
I don't think we're going to get an agreement that we're going to pay 20% or pay 35% right now. That's a big increase. That's a big increase.
I have a point of clarification. With Jillian, didn't you say, I mean, my understanding of what you said earlier is that the 27,100 is what they are getting. Correct. And is that what you said?
That's what they're charging. So if they were a new vendor to us, that's what they would be charging. So if we were to redo the contract, it would be for the 27,100. It would not be for 20 grand. So they would be operating at a loss if we paid them 20 grand next year for the same amount of work that they're now charging more for.
Okay, we're
So
not
you
even
said that
thinking. We're not
have
even
an
thinking
option
about
of,
that.
no, that we had the option of using them next year, but you didn't know that we have an option of increasing it or not. You're not clear on that?
So it's a renewable contract. And what we would do if you vote to increase the amount we're paying them, we would make an adjustment to the contract for next year. Because it's a 3-year renewable contract that started 2 years ago. So 2025 would be the 3rd year of the contract.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Couldn't we get quotes on a new contract with another firm, you know, like the Timberline Trail Builders, or just so that we can feel better and have more information about,
Mhm.
you know, maybe who to have the contract with next, or maybe this is a good deal. This is how it is, but it's the best deal. And it would just give us more information.
Or there's another alternative, which would be, I thought Tim kind of hinted at that, which would be to renew the contract with Rumphrey, but also because it's 15 days and we have plenty more work than that, as from what I can see, and try another company at the same time, the same 2025 year, maybe for a week, and see. I don't know, is this too wild, too much money, but to see while we have Rumphy and before we, you know, it said, don't burn the bridges behind you. Maybe having 2 different separate times for 2 different separate companies would give us a good comparison.
Yeah, let me say something. This is all happening in a real compressed time
Right.
frame. All of a sudden, you know, a week ago, less than a week ago, I found out that they were going to raise the price on us for 35% or whatever it is. And now I've got this conflict, which may not be a conflict at all. We need to talk it out. And that's all of a sudden part of this, because, okay, are we just going to give them money no matter whether they are working up to par for us? Or do we withhold some of that money? And I don't like that game either. So I think we're going to get that worked out. And I think when they realize that, yea, verily, OSAC is a meaningful entity here because we hold the purse keys to some degree, I think maybe they'll be more inclined to take us seriously. I don't know. How did you find working for them, Andrea? With them, I should say.
I worked kind of hard to try and get the communications happening less with like me and like the OSAC members and more with like city staff. So I'm glad to see that they're working with city staff on that. But I've had good luck. The walkthroughs I went on were good. They were professional. I thought they were thorough. I overall am happy with it, but yeah, I think it is great that you're going to have coffee with Carl and work through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like adults, huh?
Uh-oh, that's serious.
Yeah, that's serious. Okay, and David, I don't mind at all if you came along with us.
I can't do that tomorrow, but you do that.
Okay. Okay, did you say you can or can't?
I cannot.
Okay, okay. Well, let us just talk it through, and I think that's all it's going to take. I hope so. I mean, that's what I would expect. We're two adults having coffee, talking about an email. We can do this. I think it'll turn out fine. I don't know whether we still want to pay that kind of money, and I don't have any metric to compare that to. Maybe they're.
But you could have a metric if you called another company and said,
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I want to do.
amount of
The
data
thing about that, Judy, is that it's going to take a long time
to
to
get
figure out if you've got somebody that you can work with that will do the work and can do it for a minute. That's why I think we got to hire somebody to do some of the work that we have going, just so that we have somebody to turn to if things go bad, if things go south. And let's continue to have a good relationship with Renfee. My question to Jillian, by the way, was how would her contact, the director, feel about a 20% increase? I didn't say we're not going to do that or whatever. I was just curious.
Tim, they'd still be operating at a loss. So that's the point. So a 20% increase would be more than 20,000. So that would be good, but they would still be operating at a loss if we increased it by 20% rather than what the going rate is now. So if I were their director, I would prefer that it would be, they would match what the going rate is. But I didn't get a chance to hear back from her before she departed. So I'm not sure, but Carl might have a really good answer for you tomorrow because he's probably going to be the interim director in the meantime, like he was last time.
I was wondering about that. Okay. Well, we'll have a nice talk, hopefully. Okay.
Can I ask, TJ, you had mentioned on one of the Black Canyon hikes that there was the Pikes Peak Trail Crew for cleaning up debris, but do they do the sort of trail maintenance that we hired Renfee for? Are they an alternative?
With my work with Renfee was basically through like crew leader training and certification and stuff like that. And I'm not aware of that other organization being as rigorous with their training, safety, anything like that compared to Renfee.
I don't think they do trail work,
Okay.
but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
I
I
think
have
they're
no
just like a
idea.
volunteer organization that does cleanups, but I happen to know the guy that runs that, so I can reach out.
Yeah, I bet you both are right about that. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Well, I'll ask Carl questions and see if we can take care of my issue on that and see if we can get more information about the charges. Do we really know that they'd be operating at a loss at 24,000?
That's what I understood from my meeting with Jolie, but it would be
Okay.
good to confirm with Carl.
Okay. All right, I'll ask them those questions. And everything will turn out well. I think
Signage, David.
we have reached the end.
You got one more page. You've got those outline parcels under Red Mountain,
Okay.
last page of the packet.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the,
Going to the, we do have a couple more things to talk about. First of all, signage on Creek Walk and the old Innerman Trail.
yeah, with Jillian put together a meeting with two of her crew, her trail maintenance crew, Savannah and Wendy, and we toured the sites, and they were clearly interested in correcting that and thought winter would be a good time for that kind of project to think that through. But we'll need to let Jillian manage that and maybe report to us next time. But that was real productive.
Yeah, I can do an update at the next regular meeting.
That would work.
And then we have, oh, and that was way back here. I kind of missed it. The properties that we were turning over to or agreeing to accept from as gifts on the north side of Red Mountain. And the brilliantly communicative item I have in here is the last page, page 34. And everybody's seen this before, but I wanted to point out that these were, we're talking about, there were two people, three parcels of property that wanted to give those property to Manitou Springs, and our recommendation to them was, yeah, take it. This is good. This is that whole area south of Red Mountain that somehow, and I'd like to know the history on this, that somehow got cut up into all these tiny parcels. And we have been slowly collecting those. And I think it was our old time planning director. What was her name?
Michelle.
Michelle. Yeah, Michelle, that would take the time to watch this stuff and watch it when it came up to bid or for sale and make offers on it and stuff. We don't do that anymore. We have nobody doing that anymore. So we're slowly trying to connect all the dots here so that we have an integrated piece of property over there. And it's very possible that we can succeed at that because this is not worth anything. You'd have to pay a tremendous amount of money to get utilities to that. And that's fine. We're kind of doing that. It comes up for offer now and then. And all these things where you see green are properties that we actually own now. So it really is coming together. And you can see where this is green over here. This is green over here. This is one of the properties that we just got. This is another property. This is green here. This is green here. So that whole thing is coming together. It'd be nice if we had somebody in staff that was looking at that and I've said this many times, and everybody goes, "Yeah, okay." But we keep poking away at it, and we keep getting more pieces, and who knows? Maybe we'll have a coherent piece of property over there at some point. But I just wanted to point out this actually says something. This actually means something. We're trying to get that piece of property into a coherent match. Okay, that's all I got. Anybody else?
Right. We talk about the party.
Go party. Oh, the party. Great. Thanks for bringing that up. We're going to a party at Judy's house. On what is it? The 19th, 10 days?
19th, 6 o'clock. Be there or be square. Bring
Yeah.
a I would like to invite Josh from the planning department, and I would like to invite Danu. If you don't want me to invite Danu, I won't. But I think it would be fun to have her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Somebody else, Judith, if you have somebody you think we should invite, I'm fine with that. We got plenty of chairs. And I don't know what to tell you about food. Just, I don't know what we always did. Andrea, was it just bring whatever?
I think we've done different things, but it's up to you. I mean, we could do a full potluck kind of thing, or if you want to just do like desserts.
We did a potluck
Yeah.
at the 2 parties I've had at my place.
Well,
And that worked out great.
I'm delighted to have a potluck, and I will make Craig. I twisted his arm, and he will make a batch of his incredible chili, and we'll make some without meat and some with meat.
Okay.
And it is different because it's sweet chili. It's made with oranges.
Okay.
And I'll bring roasted vegetables. So there we go.
Are there any people with dietary restrictions we should know about? And also, did you say 6 o'clock, Judy? I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Judy,
And-
will you send out like an invite with your address and stuff on it, or something like that?
And then I think we just said everybody just bring some beer or some wine, didn't we? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of bottles of tequila.
A couple bottles? Oh. Okay, well, if somebody's bringing tequila, I think you have to bring a lime or something. I don't know, I don't drink, so it's hard. But anyway, yeah, and I thought, yeah, 6 o'clock and we can talk, and I think it would just be nice to everybody just relax and have fun.
Yeah, be great.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're at the very end.
But you really are welcome to bring, I just need to know how many people are coming. That's what I need to know. So I will send out the invite and you respond. Okay, sorry.
So RSVP on the invites, right? Yeah.
Upcoming term expiration for current members.
Yeah, got 2.
Yeah, Tim and TJ.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess if Tim is not looking to re-up or anything like that, I'm the only one that's expiring then. And I'd like to stick around for another term, even with my weird travel schedule. Sorry, Judy, I'm going to be in Kansas City for your party, so I'm going to miss it.
Okay,
Yeah, but if you're staying around, that's great.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, we need you.
I'll save you some chili.
So we need to start
if,
rolling
if you want me
the,
to stick around, just let me know what I need to do. If I have to submit another letter to council or anything like that, and I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Glad to hear it, TJ. All right. Thanks, everybody.
So next meeting is in January, right?
Yes.
Okay, back to that. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Andrea, I just wanted to say, if you do take that hike, I'd love to go. You were talking about going
Oh
up.
yeah, I'll reach out. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. So I guess we have to get
I move we adjourn the meeting.
move to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor? Thank you.
See you on the 19th.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
All right.